I didn't own a Sega Saturn or N64 back in the day, so my access to the most popular on-rail shooters of the time in Panzer Dragoon and Lilac Wars was somewhat lacking. This has probably been a blessing in me picking up Rogue Flight and seeing how I feel about this specific game type. Not having the genre heavyweights to make comparisons to has probably allowed me to be a little more subjective in my review approach, or has it? Let's find out. Rogue Flight puts you in control of civilian pilot Nadia Sowers, the last hope for humanity against Argus, a rogue AI defense system that has all but wiped out the last specks of the human race on Earth. You pilot the Arrow, highly advanced starfighter that is the only thing capable of taking the fight to Argus and bringing humanity back from the brink. The gameplay is ultimately straightforward, but that doesn't mean it is a pushover. You control your highly agile ship around the screen in either the third or first person perspective, shooting enemies and avoiding obstacles and enemy fire. You have a standard Vulcan gun to begin with, and other weapons like lasers and lightning attacks to unlock later on. There are also homing missiles and a drift attack which is almost like a laser whip which recharges after use. You are able to barrel roll the Arrow, which enables you to parry enemy shots as a defense tactic. Doing this in first person view makes the entire screen spin too, not one for the weak stomach. Probably the best mechanic available to you is your rechargeable shield meter. When you string together all of your varied attacks and the combo meter is full, the ongoing combo recharges your shield. This is very useful for when you have taken a pummeling and need to claw back some energy and ultimately confidence. In terms of gameplay mechanics, that is about it. Pretty simple stuff, but can ultimately be very challenging if you are not paying attention or getting lost in the maelstrom on screen. I'm not ashamed to say that I reached my skill ceiling on the Reclaimer boss on level 2. I started the game on the normal or standard difficulty like I would normally, but the Reclaimer was owning me for a good hour, so I had to regroup and set it to the casual setting. I didn't actually reset the difficulty back after this point like I would on most games, but still enjoyed it on the more forgiving setting. Via the story mode, there are different paths that you can take depending on how unwavering, insubordinate, selfless, or suicidal you are. You can kind of figure out what order to do these in if you want to get the most fleshed out version of the story. It's pretty self-explanatory. However, it seems that you will not get the complete scenario until New Game Plus mode is completed. That's okay though, because in this mode your Arrow fighter is at its peak with all of its shields and weapon systems at their maximum, with the enemy threat adjusting to this accordingly. This is probably the best way to play the game, and it's most challenging.
Stratus inbound. Go for the engines, but avoid the jet wash.
Visually, the game runs really well at 60 frames per second. The in-game graphics are nice, with everything moving smooth and fast. There aren't that many different enemy types, but what is in the game looks pretty good. In terms of different backgrounds and scenarios, there are varied locales ranging from blue skies, burrowing through planetary crust, navigating asteroid fields, and a molten lava planet to boot. What stops this from being rad for me is the graphical style used in the cutscenes. As I understand, it is trying to emulate a specific anime aesthetic, but I just don't think it looks great. To me, it looks like a half-finished, cel-shaded style that looks more like it would belong on a PS1 title. A shame really, as the character portraits are actually very good, and the in-game engine runs perfectly well. Visuals are good, but the lack of polish in the presentation does hurt the overall feel.
Looks like you stirred the hornet's nest.
The audio is mostly really great. The voiceover work from the three main characters is really well performed, with lots of emotion present. The soundtrack is really cool too, lots of hard rock, and the sound effects are punchy, with the main Vulcan cannon's rhythmic firing never getting old. There is one thing that stops it from getting a rad rating, I'm afraid. When you unlock an achievement at the end of a stage, the noise that accompanies it is so abrasive that it makes me wince whenever I hear it. I know you may think I'm being precious, but it really is quite jarring. There are many different loadouts to unlock for the Arrow in-game. You will spend a few playthroughs unlocking these. However, my personal favourite loadout, which gave me 150% of my shield, seemed to be available to me before other loadouts that just weren't as good. How this happened, I couldn't say for sure, but it did lessen the reward chasing aspect. As I said earlier, there is a New Game Plus mode to unlock, and a Rogue Flight mode, which is a very tough roguelike version of the game, which gives you 1 life and no checkpoints. In the Void Challenge mode, you have 60 seconds on the clock to maximise and maintain combos to pause time and make your run last as long as possible. You can also customize the arrow's exterior by changing colours and liveries, mending your call sign, and various other badges and emblems. The longevity of the game will ultimately depend on how much you enjoy the core gameplay and how willing you are to unlock everything. I picked this up in an eShop sale for $2.99, which is an absolute steal. Would I pay for it at its full digital price of $14.99? Probably not. I have really enjoyed it, but it's part of that because I got it for a bargain price. I would probably pay about £10 for this. I think that is a reasonable price for it. There isn't a Switch physical version available, but lucky PS5 owners can pick up a physical copy for $21.85 from hit.co.uk. Is it worth that? Depends how much you love the game, I guess. If you love it, then yeah, having a copy you can keep forever is of course worth the little extra, but you should probably get it in a sale to see if that is the case first. As a gateway game into on-rail shooters, Rogue Flight has been great for me personally. I have really enjoyed the frantic gameplay and exploring all of the different scenarios on how to save the Earth from our inevitable AI-manifested doom. Absolute steal at $2.99. Even though it isn't rad overall, it's still worth your time and money. I look forward to playing more games of this type in the future. If anyone knows of any good on-rail shooters on the Switch that I should check out, please let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching everyone. See you in the future.